Monday, all eyes will be on the corner of 16th and Georgetown and the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Indianapolis 500. But here on a Friday evening, it's all about Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park and the Carb Night Classic. Hello, race fans. My name is Rob Howden. Great to be here at IRP this weekend. We've got a Freedom 75 and a Freedom 90 for you here tonight. The new Continental tires, bad fast. We reset track records in both USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000. Of course, we're going to get a chance to talk to those drivers before we go racing today. Braden East from Exclusive Autosport during the fastest ever race lap here at IRP. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Carb Night Classic. I'm standing here with USF 2000 pole sitter Nicholas Giafoni from D-Force Racing. Nicholas, big for you to come back, right? Pole position, running for the Freedom 75 victory. Walk me through that qualifying effort.
Well, first of all, yeah, it's great to be back on top. It's been a while. Rough start of the season. I'm back, that things are getting back on track. Hopefully we can stand this momentum through the last few rounds that we have. But yeah, I mean, it just goes by so quickly. To be honest, the worst thing is being on the outside waiting for all the drivers to come, because I was the sixth driver to do my lap, so I had to wait for like 10, 11 other cars to do their lap. So I think that was the worst part, but I'm so happy to be on top. I mean, these guys really deserve. The mechanics have been putting an insane amount of time and work to make these cars good, and the engineers as well. So I'm happy because I got the easiest job. I did 2 laps, like 40 seconds. And that was it, so I'm happy to be back, and hopefully we can translate this into a good night.
Based on the testing on Wednesday, and of course practice yesterday and Thursday before qualifying, did it feel like a good lap? Like, did you know you had it at that point?
To be honest, I was not sure, because I did a similar lap that I had done in practice before. So when I went to quali, I thought we would be a little bit faster because we had lower fuel. It wasn't the case. Maybe I left a bit on the table, but it was good enough for pole, so I'm happy with that.
In the preseason, you and I did an interview that we aired, of course, on the YouTube channel, and you talked about this race, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited about IRP and the Freedom. It's here. What are your thoughts now going into the 75 lapper?
You know, I was thinking about this coming here because I remembered about the interview, and yeah, I think it's a privilege to be racing here. Last year, I was at the spotter tower watching Matt Clark start from pole, so I think it's a huge privilege to be starting on pole and be racing around this track, and I just hope I can get the best out of it.
Any kind of race strategy, or is it more like just react to how things happen early on?
Yeah, it's kind of, we've never raced with these tires in these and these speeds around this track, so we will have to adapt to what happens, because we don't know. Passing is much more difficult than it was last year, because you don't see people using brakes. You carry a lot of speed into the corners and out of the corners, so it'll be interesting to see how the competition's cars are under traffic, and our cars as well.
All right, last thing, Giafoni, now the track record holder here, 2-lap average. You are the track record holder for USF 2000 in qualifying. Your thoughts on that?
Wow, I had no idea. That's so nice. I hope they change the tires next year, and then I can keep the record.
Watch out for this guy, folks. Giafoni, P1, could be on top of the box by the end of the race. When you're talking about Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, no one has got around here faster than this guy right here, Braden Eves, on the pole for USF Pro 2000, the outright track record at IRP. How's that feel?
Feels really good. I mean, this is a place that's haunted me a little bit in the past. Hasn't always been the strongest for me, but the Corpay Exclusive Autosport crew gave me a fantastic car, made my job, really easy, honestly. So, and the speeds that we're hitting it's pretty crazy. We're not even fully out of the gas all the way around the lap, so it feels almost more like Gateway than the old how we used to be lapping around Lucas.
And you guys really found the speed Wednesday, Thursday. You were digging hard. You and John Hayes having to work at it really to come up with the speed for qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. Just minor tweaks of the car. I mean, honestly, we unrolled really well, so it was a lot of just sort of dialing in the driving to get it to where it needed to be. And really, it's honestly, when the car is that good around here, like I said, it makes my job a lot easier.
We talk about the stats all the time about IRP here. You start up front row, good opportunity to win a race. And you'd obviously love to get that victory your first of the season. What are your thoughts on the start right now?
It's just going to be, I don't really like to predict too much. This place is pretty unpredictable. But I know that if I can just get a good start and get out to the lead, I know I can hold it. So that's really what the focus is.
One of the considerations is going to be the grip levels of these new Continental tires. It's really tough on these drivers. I think those last 25 laps are going to be tough on everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be probably the most physical race that all of us have done in our lives. So that's going to be a big part of it. Fortunately enough, I think it's going to be easier physically with the people that have better cars rather than the people that are sort of struggling with that. So I think that'll play into my favor a little bit, and really it's just going to be who can hang on.
Braden Eads looking for that first win of the season. Former USF 2000 champion, multi-time race winner in this series, and as I said before, outright track record holder here at IRP. After this quick break, folks, we'll be back with driver introductions.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
Over the years, we've chased down a lot of dreams, each one leading to the next, all the way to our most electrifying dream yet. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue. Made to inspire the newest generation of dreamers so they can make their dreams a reality. The all-new, all-electric Prologue from Honda.
So we are live here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. As we said in the pre-show, it's no longer the Carb Night Classic. It's not Friday evening. It is now Saturday. The rain that I did talk about arrived and it dampened the track. The event was canceled and rescheduled here for a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. And we're getting set to go racing here for the drivers in 5-lapper to see who comes away with the big points. G3 Argyros in the number 63 for Jay Howard Driver Development, the Positive Energy Machine starting in the 18th position outside of row number 9. On the inside from Texas for D-Force Racing, it's Maxwell Jameson in the number 12. Row number 8 will have Brady Golan on the outside, another one of our Texas drivers. Rookie here running at the oval at IRP. Golan's going to start 16th outside of row number 8 alongside Michael Costello for Jay Howard Driver Development in the number 8. Costello did have good speed during practice. We'll watch for him to work his way forward. He's going to start on the inside, P15. Tough to pass, as we know here. So lots of work to be done for the drivers deeper in the field. Move up to row number 7 now. Another one of the D-Force drivers, Lucas Facuri, the Brazilian in the number 10, starting on the outside, P14. And on the inside, it's the local Indianapolis driver that everybody watching here today, Elliot Cox for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development. Cox starting on the inside of row number 7 in the number 67, starting 13th. Row 6 will be the Californian Carson Etter on the outside for DC Autosport in the number 57. Inside, Joey Brienza, Colorado resident, but actually living here now in Indianapolis, going to the University of Indiana. Brienza for Exclusive Autosport starting in 11th. Going out of row number 5 on the outside, all the way from Australia, it's Xavier Kokai for VRD Racing. He was quickest in our test sessions on Wednesday. Watch for him to work his way forward here. I think he's got the speed to move forward. He did have a little bit of a wreck on Thursday, so we'll need to get his focus in. Kokai starting on the outside and the inside. Another driver who's found the wall during testing, Hudson Schwartz, the young 15-year-old for Pabst Racing in the number 22. Both those drivers starting on row number 5. We'll have to deal with having been in the wall already here over the last couple of days. Moving up now to Sam Corey on the outside of row number 4. Corey, a winner already this year at NOLA Motorsports Park. Second-year driver in USF 2000 at Cornelius, North Carolina. Corey in the 23 starting in 8th. And on the inside, your point leader right now, multi-time winner on the season so far, from Florida, Max Garcia in the number 24 starting in 7th. Row number 3 on the outside will be the Jay Howard Driver Development pilot, Evagoras Papasavas. Second place in points coming in, looking for that first win of the 2024 season. Papasavas starting in the 6th spot alongside Max Taylor, winner at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the road course just 2 weeks ago. The VRD driver from New Jersey, Taylor in the number 3, starting P5. Moving now up to row number 2 on the outside, Quinn Armstrong all the way from Australia. A lot of family and friends watching back home in Australia. Quinn Armstrong for D-Force Racing celebrated his birthday yesterday. The rookie in the number 11 starting 4th. Alongside him, another one of the Indianapolis drivers. This is the home race for Tanner DeFabis in the number 9 for Jay Howard Driver Development. He'll start P3. DeFabis and Armstrong on row number 2. 18 drivers in the field. We'll put 2 on the front row. Off pole will be the number 58. Another one of the Indiana drivers from McCordsville. Big weekend here for Ayrton Hauk for DC Autosport. A front row start in the number 58 machine. Ayrton Hauk rolling off from P2. But the driver they're going to chase here coming into the turn number 1, USF Juniors champion last year for D-Force Racing from Brazil. That is Nicholas Giaffoni. Giaffoni in the number 1 machine. He's got the scholarship colors, having won that scholarship from USF Juniors worth over $260,000 to move into USF 2000 this year. He's had a rough season so far, looking to break the streak and get the win here. Again, 1.5 points this weekend. For the event here in the Freedom 75. So crucial for these drivers to make their move and work their way again into victory lane. So Giaffoni and Hauk on row 1, DeFabis and Armstrong row 2, Taylor and Papasavas row 3, Garcia and Corey row 4, Schwartz and Kokai row 5, Brienza and Eder row 6, Cox and Ficuri on row 7, Costello, Golan row 8, Jameson and Argyros on row number 9. So, again, we'll say to those of you who are watching around the country or around the world, we're thrilled that you're tuning in for what is now a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon race. Of course, we'll have the drivers in USF Pro 2000 on track as well for the Freedom 90. One of the big storylines here throughout the last couple of days have been these new Continental tires that we are using. Obviously, our new partner here, Continental Tire. A lot of grip for these tires here, and it's going to be tough on these pilots. We set new track records. Giaffoni, a new 2-lap average track record in qualifying, and then, of course, Braden Eves for Exclusive Autosport shattered the track record in USF Pro 2000. Not only is it a 2-lap average and fastest lap for Braden Eves, it's actually the outright fastest lap ever turned here at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. So no one's gone faster around this track than Braden Eves in that USF 2000 for Exclusive Autosport. So, again, 75 laps for these drivers. We've, in years past, done a lot of clean and green racing for sure. Looking to get things underway here trackside. Little audio trouble here as well. I don't think we're to the house right now. We don't have the PA working with the broadcast from where we are in the broadcast booth. They're working on that right now to try to get that dialed in. So again, 18 drivers set to go here. From this event, we head to Road America in a couple of weeks' time. Back to that fantastic racetrack in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. But this is that one and only oval for these drivers here as they are now set to go. There, we got the PA working. Hello, folks. Great to be here. I'll have another quick little run through the driver introductions here as we had some issues with audio to get the broadcast booth here connected to the PA. Again, row number 9 will be G3 Argyros in the number 63, starting alongside Maxwell Jameson. Row 8, Brady Golan, the Texan, in the number 18 for D-Force Racing, starting in 16th, alongside Michael Costello in the number 8 for Jay Howard Driver Development. Costello had some great speed during the testing, so watch for him to work his way forward. Row 7 will have Lucas Ficuri in the number 10, starting on the outside, P14 for D-Force Racing. And keep an eye on the number 67, folks, Elliot Cox is going to start on the inside of row 7, P13 for Sarah Fisher Hartman Racing Development. He's a driver we expect to work his way forward. Engines have fired down on pit lane as we get ready to roll here. Let's go further up the order. Row 6, we'll have Carson Eder on the outside for DC Autosport, the California in the number 57. Inside, the Colorado driver, now living here in Indiana, University of Indiana student, Joey Brienza for Exclusive Autosport in the number 91, starting 11th. Row 5 will have the Aussie, Xavier Kokai for VRD Racing. He was the quickest driver in Wednesday testing. Watch for him to work his way forward. Keep an eye on the number 19. Alongside him, 15-year-old Hudson Schwartz in the Pabst Racing number 22. Row 2 will have Sam Corey alongside Max Garcia, both those Pabst Racing drivers, starting 7th and 8th, respectively. Row 3, Evagoras Papasava, second place in points for Jay Howard Driver Development. The number 6, starting 6th, alongside a winner for Indianapolis. That is Max Taylor for VRD Racing in the number 3. Row number 4, we'll have Quinn Armstrong alongside Tanner DeFabis. Armstrong from D-Force Racing, DeFabis from J. Howard Driver Development. And on the front row, Ayrton Hauk, Indiana driver, in the 58 for DC Autosport, starting second alongside Nicholas Giaffoni for D-Force Racing, last year's USF Juniors champion, looking for a win here. Quickly, let's have a look at my keys to the race here right now for USF 2000. First and foremost, clean start. Cold tires, 2 wide, 3 wide action, going to amp up the degree of risk. Everybody's got to get a clean start. For these young drivers who are rookies, so many of them in the field here, rookies, 15 of them, or 13 of them rather, get into a rhythm. So many drivers making their first oval starts, getting into a rhythm early. It's going to help them settle in to see if they can't make it the 75-lap distance. And last but not least, be ready to adapt. Drivers need to really keep in tune with their cars. Tires are going to start to go off midway. They're going to start getting a little tired. You have to be ready to adapt, change your line, change your approach. Those are the keys to the race here for USF 2000. Also, folks, right now, up in the tower here right now, one of our family members from the USF Pro Championships. It is cancer survivor Reagan Lessick. Reagan, a big part of our family. I was able to work with the Indiana University Melvin and Bren Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center. We've got her up in the tower with the family right now, so awesome to have Reagan here with us. Fantastic. All the USF Pro Championship entries will carry a decal to acknowledge the Indiana University Melvin and Bren Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center. Green flag flying, folks. We are underway. Green, green, green. One driver way to the bottom of the racetrack. That was Max Garcia. Dove to the bottom. We'll go 3 wide down the back straightaway. Giaffoni gets the early lead, so we are now racing here in USF 2000. I thought we were going to get one more pace lap. We did not. Straight at it, and we are racing. 75 laps. One goes in the books. Underway. That was a big move down the bottom. We talked about for Garcia. He started in 7th spot. He was trying to work his way up there. I think he may have got one position. You see some more side-by-side racing a bit further back as well. Drivers work on the high side. Couple of them trying to make that low side work. These tires are going to come up to temperature pretty quickly. I think that's Sam Corey in the bottom in the number 23. He's battling it out now with Joey Brienza up top. When we do get a chance to calm down a bit, I do have a driver analyst here today, a racer who is no stranger to competition here at IRP, Yuvan Sundaramurthy from Able Motorsports, the Indy Next driver, sitting alongside. We'll bring him in here for some expert commentary. Let this field kind of settle in here right now. Giaffoni out to a pretty solid lead early. Ayrton Hauk holding on to that 2nd spot. Good little scrap there. Right now running in the 3rd and 4th position. That is a good battle here for that spot, because at the bottom side, Tanner DeFabis trying to hold on, but Quinn Armstrong to the top side. Big run there. Let's see. The only problem here is DeFabis is holding him down to the bottom, and that's given some dirty air for Quinn. He's right behind Ayrton Hauk, so he doesn't have that air over top of the front wing. A little lower for DeFabis. He's able to stay in it as that front wing and all that downforce being leveraged. DeFabis trying to see if he can't clear Armstrong. Has not been able to get back up top. The spotters, of course, so crucial here at IRP. Things settling in nicely right now. Let's bring in Yuvan Sundaramurthy. Yuvan, obviously, you've not only raced here, but you're actually spotting for the USF Pro Championship. So let's talk about the spotters a little bit. DeFabis holding that bottom line. He's just waiting for that call that he's clear and can go back up top.
Yeah, it's super important for these drivers to be able to trust their spotters. It's a big part of knowing when you're clear, knowing when you're not clear, when you can move up in front of those guys, especially when you do the patented slide job here. You got to know when you're clear so you don't take out the guy above you and end up taking out your race too. But it's a big thing that a lot of these guys, especially these new guys, have to deal with that they've never had to deal with before. Ayrton Hauk has tons of experience running midgets, so he's used to that spotter, unlike the pole sitter here, Nicholas Giaffoni. So it'll be very interesting once these guys get a run. Looks like Tanner DeFabis here is getting a good run here, so let's see if he can challenge the leader here in a bit. Yeah,
I'll tell you this right now, Tanner DeFabis, who rookie in the series, just kind of getting the hang of things here in this USF 2000 program, but he is looking very comfortable here on the oval. Works his way up and gets to the inside of Ayrton Hauk, so make that move to P2. Tanner DeFabis in the J. Howard Driver Development Machine is a rocket right now, settling in nicely here. He'll run in that 2nd spot. 3rd right now is Hauk. 4th is Quinn Armstrong. 5th is Evagoras Papasavas. 6th is Max Taylor. 7th is Max Garcia. 8th, Sam Corey. 9th, Joey Brienza, and rounding out the top 10, Michael Costello. I talked about watching Michael Costello. Started 15th, +5 in the opening couple of laps. You've raced here a lot. The opening laps are the best opportunity to make passes for Costello. That's big to get himself up to P15.
Yeah, huge opportunity to make passes here, but also you can get caught out really early. You can get stuck on the low line. Also important to see here, Tanner DeFabis running that low line almost every lap. One thing that these guys that don't have as much experience here won't recognize is that the Silver Crown guys just ran 100 laps here. That's a ton of rubber on the low line. They run much lower than these USF 2000 cars. So Tanner DeFabis using that early and able to get a ton of speed, fast lap by almost a tenth of a second.
Yeah, he's rolling up big time here on Nicholas Giaffoni. In fact, right up onto the gearbox right now. We had our oval clinic on Thursday morning where Brian Herta, Charlie Kimball, and R.C. Enerson, all veteran drivers, of course, came and talked to our pilots, and we're talking about being able to run that middle line. And look at this. We got a challenge for the race lead. Tanner DeFabis going to the bottom of the racetrack here right now. DeFabis out of Avon, Indiana. What a move. He'll go to the bottom. We have a new leader. Tanner DeFabis has gone to P1. What a drive right now for DeFabis. Gets himself up from third. Battled out with Quinn Armstrong for a bit. Found his way by Ayrton Hauk. And he now leads it. Still running that bottom line like you've been talked about. One of the things we did chat about in the Oval Clinic was that simple fact that the track was going to be different when they rolled out, having had that all the rubber from the Hoosier 100. And the interesting thing, you've run a lot of these races. We were doing Cooper tires back then. The Continentals are actually made by Hoosier, so it's a more similar compound I would expect. Probably a little easier to drive.
That's for sure, and also these compounds are the same compound that they run on the road courses, so it's a very interesting thing for these guys to deal with, and these long runs that we didn't really get a big chance to run with in practice, it'll be interesting to see who adapts to that the quickest. I think you're going to keep your eye on Ayrton Hauk there. One of the most experienced oval drivers in the field, so we'll see how he does later on in this race.
Yeah, Ayrton's got a lot of experience driving the Kenyan midgets, so he does have a lot of that experience. It's an opportunity for him to kind of show up here big. But I'll tell you, if you're an Indiana race fan, they're running second and third, or rather first and third right now, with DeFabis leading the way and Hauk running in third. So the Indiana drivers looking good here right now, locking out a couple spots on the podium. Early running though here right now. Remember, 75 lapper. And you've been in the paddock, of course. You know, you're working with Nicholas Baptiste, the Colombian. You'll be his spotter. Big story, obviously, is the maximum level of grip that we've got in these Continentals. They have a ton of grip. It's a soft compound. We got it. You and I talked about it briefly. These drivers near the end of this thing, it's going to start getting to the point where they're going to get worn out. It's a real heavy steering wheel.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to be a big war of attrition, especially when we get to the USF Pro 2000 race a little bit later today. But for these guys, it's going to be kind of hanging on. You can't push a little bit too hard too early and get tired late. That's a lot of times we see a late pass, 10 laps to go, is just the driver wears himself out a little early. And also with these tires, we're used to the oval tires not really wearing off too much towards the end of the race. These tires will maybe have a bigger fall off, maybe not. We're not sure because we haven't really seen those long runs yet.
It's the unknown, right? The fact we don't know what these tires are going to do. Are they going to fall off once you get down to lap 60, lap 65? And again, how are these drivers? We talk a lot about the fitness and what they've got to do to be able to hold on to these race cars. Tanner DeFabis is flat checking out right now. What a run so far, 1.4 second lead for DeFabis. I know a lot of drivers you've been talking about potentially settling in, running maybe 85, 90%. I don't think DeFabis is doing that right now. Unless that thing is absolutely perfect, this guy's probably pushing 100% right now.
Definitely not. Yeah, he's definitely moving forward and starting from that P3 spot. He moved himself forward early, which is exactly what you need here. Dirty air is a big thing for wearing those front tires down. We've got a couple guys that they might catch up to in a couple laps here from a lap down, so we'll see how he deals with that traffic.
Yeah, I think that's going to be key. You're right. He's got that open racetrack right now. Get out there, and again, get away from Giaffoni. Give yourself the opportunity where you have some time to maybe take a little more time getting by those lap cars, because when we talked about it in the drivers' meeting, race director Joel Miller said, listen, the drivers that you're trying to lap, they've got the opportunity to make sure they don't get laps. So it's all well and good that they're going to try to race you. Once they go a lap down or 2 laps down, then we're going to ask them to kind of kindly get out of the way. But that first overtake, you got to get the job done yourself, because then a yellow could come out and they're back on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's for sure. We always see the classic pick move be a big part of these races late when you get close and a car in front of you is a lap down, it's good to use them as a pick and kind of make your move.
Brady Golan's coming into pit lane. Something wrong with the D-Force driver, the Texan, who started in the 16th position, has pulled off the racetrack and I don't know if he's done for the day or will come back in and make some adjustments and head back out. But right now, Brady Golan in the 18 coming into pit lane, as you can see there, left side of the screen. Leader is rocking and rolling right now. Tanner DeFabus. I don't think that Tanner would have thought that this was in the cards here coming in as a rookie driver in the program. Jay Howard has had some success here over the past years. Christian Rasmussen being the primary example, was able to win here at the IRP in the Freedom 75 and the Freedom 90. So crucial for if that car is this good, this is a really good opportunity for Tanner DeFabus, the rookie driver, to potentially put a win on the board here right now. And again, as you know, Yuvan, points and a half. Normally 30 points for a race win. This would be 45 points for a race win. Tanner comes in right now in the 17th place. His best finish so far was a 9th at IMS, top 10 finish in the first race of the doubleheader at IMS. How would this change the mindset, you think, if he comes away with a victory here?
No, it's huge for a driver. I mean, just to get the confidence that this event builds. Obviously, it's an oval versus the rest of the road courses that we run, but confidence is huge, and we've got a big pack starting up here right behind Ayrton Hauk in third place, and Tanner DeFabus made easy work of Carson Etter there for the lap car.
Yeah, he did. He got a good move, went down to the bottom. We already know he's good on the bottom, which is crucial here. There have been times that some teams would set up just to be able to be on the bottom. You know the car's going to be pretty good up top. The idea is to get to the bottom, but let's key on it. There's a good shot there. That's the move by Giaffoni getting by Carson Etter. So that's the driver holding in second spot right now, but the gap to the group back there right behind that you've been brought up. Ayrton Hauk in the 58, Quinn Armstrong in the 11, Evagoras Papasavas in the 6, and Max Taylor there as well in the number 3. Then it's a big gap back to your point leader, Max Garcia. Number of wins on the season so far for Garcia, 4 in total. He hasn't finished outside the top 6. His 6 is his worst finish of the year. So, although where he is right now, currently running 7th, that would be the new low finish, although he'll still likely have the point lead. Got a good margin over Papasavas, 40 points over Papasavas. But Garcia there running in that spot. Drivers settling in here now, 29 laps down. Again, a 75 lapper for drivers in USF 2000. It'll be 90 for USF Pro 2000. Those drivers probably even in for a longer afternoon than these drivers in USF 2000. The cars in USF Pro, the front tires are a lot larger, more downforce. It's going to be a heavy wheel, and those guys are going to be spent when they're done with 90 laps.
And we're definitely seeing the aero wash here come into play for this pack for the running for third place here. You can see they keep catching the back of Giaffoni, and then just once they get close, it's hard to keep there, and they fall back a little bit.
And you would talk about that. You've got a race car that you know is probably faster than the guy in front of you, but when you get into that aero wash, you're coming down to try to get some air on the front wing. What's it feel like coming into the corners? Does it just not want to turn?
Yeah, it's the most frustrating thing when you get close and you're like, I've got way more speed than this guy, but I can't get it to turn down to the corner. You got to wait for the gas, and then you get a bad exit. Obviously, we know the low line's working here, as Tanner DeFabus is showing us, so I'm interested to see if any of these guys in this pack for third place start to dive low and run that line consistently instead of trying to go back up to this high line.
I was thinking exactly the same thing. Someone's got to commit to that bottom line, that second groove in the bottom there to hold the spot, because as you see, our cars here run a higher line than you just saw in the USAC Silver Crown cars. So again, it's DeFabus leading. We are closing in on the halfway point of this one. DeFabus is your leader. Nicholas Giaffoni runs second. Ayrton Hauk third. Quinn Armstrong fourth. The rookies are 1, 2, 3, 4. First time here on the oval, and they are putting it down. Papasavas runs in fifth. He was second last year here in the Freedom 75. Taylor has been able to get by. No, Taylor's holding on to sixth. Then it's that run back to Max Garcia, Michael Costello, Joey Brienza, and Sam Corey. Xavier Kokai, who was very quick in testing on Wednesday, who started 10th, runs there. So he's not been able to make any ground up whatsoever. So not surprising, the driver kind of settling in. We do have a couple of good battles. Here's a shot here again. They come out onto the front straightaway. That's Quinn Armstrong. That's he and Papasavas. There's Papasavas going to the bottom. You called it. Get to the bottom line. You got to make the move. We're side by side. That's the current fight for P4. The Australian on top, that is Armstrong, and then in the bottom is Papasavas from Ohio. Quinn Armstrong celebrating a birthday yesterday. doing a great job on the top line. But listen, Papasavas ain't giving up. He keeps digging that bottom row.
And Quinn Armstrong with a very veteran move there in turn 3 and 4, pulled low. So Papasavas went to the inside line, and Quinn Armstrong forced him down almost 2 lanes low. He ran the low line himself, and that's going to cost Papasavas another position here to Max Taylor.
And that's exactly it, right? He had to get checked up there. A good job for Quinn. Then, of course, Max Taylor taking full advantage of that. He was able to make the move to the bottom coming through turns number 3 and 4. So move Max Taylor now up to P5. Papasavas there going back into 6th position. So Evagaris Papasavas, P2 in the championship right now. Has not yet got that win. He's had a run of 5 straight podiums to start the year. 4th in race number 1 in Indianapolis, and then a 19th, a tough one in race number 2 at Indianapolis. He needs another solid finish here, although the points he's accrued early are good for him. There's picking up the 67 there of Elliott Cox, running back in 14th. Elliott started 13th, just hasn't been able to work his way forward. Didn't get the qualifying run he wanted. He's scrapping it out right now here with G3 Argyros. He'll go to the bottom of the racetrack. Here's Cox. He's going to make a move to the bottom. Argyros to the top side, Cox to the bottom side, trying to get this pass done to go back to P13. And he is clearing through. So the pass done there, gets the call from the spotter, goes back to the high side. Argyros thinks about the bottom, can't quite make it stick, and that pass now finished on the way up the straightaway. Qualifying so key, Yuvan. We talk about a lot about it. You know, if you look back historically, first, second, or third, vast majority of the race winners. Poles like half the time, winning from pole. That's what this track is so tough to pass on, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard track to pass on for the reasons that we talked about. That aero wash is big, and honestly, I think the conditions today are going to be really, really advantageous for making moves, right? We had the rain wash out all the grip yesterday, so all that high line grip is gone, and now Silver Crown's put down a bunch of low line grip, so honestly, there might be some more grip down there on the low side.
I'm checking out a couple battles further back. We're watching this one here. This is Max Taylor coming off a big victory. His first USF 2000 win came just a couple of weeks ago on the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The VRD driver looks to be pretty good here midway through. Now we are past the halfway point, 42 laps down, 33 laps to go. And again, these drivers, this is when they're going to start getting a little tired. But Max Taylor seems to be a driver on the move right now. We'll see whether or not he has enough to potentially reel in and get by Quinn Armstrong. He's right there with him. Indeed, right off the gearbox, and you can see him just maybe a half a lane down. Didn't commit to the very bottom lane, but even just a half a lane down allows a little air come over the front wing.
That's for sure, and we can see here in third place, big opportunity for Ayrton Hauk. They catch up to his teammate Carson Etter, and Carson Etter does not give Giafoni a good, easy time making the move pass, and lets this pack of Ayrton Hauk and the rest of the third place guys go. So hopefully that gives some opportunity to his teammate there. That's what they're hoping for.
That's third, fourth, and fifth on the screen right there. Ayrton Hauk, Quinn Armstrong, and Max Taylor in the number 3. Taylor trying to work his way forward here. Max started in the 5th spot, fell back a couple of spots, but has clawed his way back up into the P5 position, so a net 0 at this point, but a good recovery for Taylor. That's him right there, working his way up here on Quinn Armstrong, who's having a good run as well. Quinn had a really strong start to the season. It's tough to see him back in 10th place in points because the first 5 races were all top 10s. 7th, 8th, 8th, 9th, and then 2 DNFs essentially in the races at Indianapolis. He just did not have any luck. I literally went to him in the paddock after Indianapolis and said, listen, I'll give you some cash. You got to go buy yourself some luck because it is just horrible. None of his own. Oh, it's spinning. Driver's gone around. And that's contact there. Ayrton Hauk has spun, and I believe that is Taylor, I think, contact as well. So trouble coming out of turn number 2. Ayrton Hauk lost the rear end of the DC Autosport machine. Just broke loose coming out of the corner. And nowhere to go for Max Taylor as he just gets clipped. There's the 58 of Ayrton Hauk. AMR IndyCar safety team getting there.
And that is the unfortunate part about oval racing, especially for a driver like Max Taylor there, just to kind of stand by position. You're coming out of that corner with pretty much on the limit of the tire, and if a car like that spins in front of you, it's super difficult to get to the low side. And that's also a big part of the spotters, right? You got to call as soon as you see that car spin, back it down, get the car to slow down.
And even let's talk about that. You know, when you're running a road course and somebody spins in front of you, like you said, you're able to make the move to the left. You're able to make the move to the right. when you're coming in at a turn 1 and 2 like that, you're fully committed, right? You got the wheel in the thing. Like you said, you're on the absolute limit of the tire. You can't ask that much more.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much at the limit of the tire the whole way through the corner. That's at least the fast way to go around the corner, and we know those guys in the lead are definitely running close to that limit. So unfortunate. Hopefully the drivers are okay. That was a pretty big impact for Ayrton Hauk. Hopefully we can see him get out of the car here soon. But besides those two that crashed, the one that's really not looking forward to this caution is Tanner DeFavis.
Right. Yeah, Tanner DeFavis had a massive lead, as we know, was able to pull away. And so let's kind of restack things a little bit here. I believe I did see Ayrton Hauk getting out of the car, which was great. We have not seen yet Max Taylor. At least we didn't see him get out. I think he may be out of the car already. Tanner DeFavis, your leader. Nicholas Giafoni in second. Quinn Armstrong now third. Evagores Papasavas up into fourth. That moves Max Garcia into fifth. Michael Costello up to sixth. Xavier Kokai into seventh. Brianza up to eighth. Hudson Schwartz ninth. And Sam Corey rounding out the top 10. And again, listen, let's talk about that, Yuvan, because you said you've been here before. You're on the limit. You're coming out. You're full throttle on again. How easy is it to potentially lose the rear of that car? Is it just that you've got so much wheel into it coming out?
I mean, it's super easy, and the thing here is you're going so fast that if you start to lose the rear, it's really hard to save it. I mean, we see this at the Speedway, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a bunch of times with those Indy cars. Obviously, they're going a significant amount faster than these cars, but it's not much different because you're still at that limit of the tire. So it's once you lose it, it's really hard to save it, and even if you do save it, eventually you might move up the track and be in the wall, especially with how we run here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, so close to the wall that there's not much room for error.
And again, like we always say, folks, they're right on the ragged edge, pushing as hard as they can. Again, we were past the halfway point, 49 laps now down. So the crew going to work, getting that car of Hauk up on the hook to get him there as well. Same thing happening with Max Taylor's VRD machine. We'll get those cars off as quick as we possibly can. If you're looking for premium performance during the month of May, receive a Visa prepaid card by mail with the purchase of 4 Continental Tire Extreme Contact Sport 02 tires, a dynamic summer ultra high performance tire for passenger cars, ideal for both the street and track. Terms and conditions apply. Visit continentaltire.com for full details. Continental Tire, the smart choice in tires. Up front as well, you can see again on the caution here right now. Pacing our field is our beautiful new Honda Civic Type R pace car, the most powerful Honda production vehicle ever sold in the United States. With a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine producing an incredible 315 horsepower. The smooth and precise 6-speed manual transmission features a revised rev match system, helping to maintain stability on corner entry, and a limited slip differential puts the engine's power to the pavement effectively. The Civic Type R leverages Honda's racetrack-proven engineering to deliver extreme performance and passion both on the road and on the racetrack. A lot of great partners we have here as part of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. We've mentioned Continental quite a bit. The poll for Nicholas Giafoni was worth $1,000, courtesy of Continental. $1,500 went to Braden Eves. And we talk about Continental Tire, talk about Honda. VP Racing has been a huge supporter of us as well. The Skip Barber Racing School is the official school of the USF Pro Championships. They've got their USF scholarship lined up to bring drivers from Skip Barber, the $100,000 scholarship to move to USF Juniors. They have their own Skip Barber Formula Race Series, which develops a lot of drivers, bringing them here into this program. AMR IndyCar safety crew doing their best to get these cars hooked up quickly and get us back to green flag racing. All right, listen, you've won races before in the USF Pro Championships. Restarts are always interesting, right? Tanner DeFavis got into a groove, clean air. It was all working. His spotter, of course, on the radio with him, just keep hitting your marks. This is great. We're pulling away. Car is awesome. What's the mindset? What's the spotter telling him here right now when we're getting ready to go back with a restart?
Yeah, I mean, for him, it's probably more so in his hands at this point. The spotter's really not going to tell you where to go. It's going to be where he feels comfortable going. Pretty big restart zone here, and really it's just try to catch the guy in second place off guard. If they go at the same time as you, you're going to have your mirrors full going into turn one. So hopefully for him, he gets a good start here, gets a jump, and then has those the second place of Giafoni and Armstrong battling it out, and that will give him a chance to extend that lead again.
You'll be on top of the tower for the USF Pro 2000 race, spotting for Nicholas Baptiste. I know the spotter's not going to be able to tell you really when to go, but are you the voice of calm sometimes? Like, in a situation like this, Tanner's, whoever's on the radio with him, whether it's Jay Howard or one of his other guys, Can you be the voice of calm? Can you provide a little bit of insight? You're obviously a veteran driver now in Indy Next with Able Motorsports. What can you bring to the table?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time it's either your engineer or your spotter kind of keeping you sane. Obviously, in these situations, it's probably a lot of nerves for all those cars at front. Obviously, some of them are probably happy to get a little bit of a rest here. These cars are definitely very physical, so it's just going to kind of be on their hands to say, you know, you're doing your race. Like, he passed from third to first, and he pulled away from the field, so there's nothing for him to worry about, and that's probably what the spotter's telling him.
Yeah, we're going to go green here pretty soon. So we've got you in the booth here. You're a race winner in the USF Pro Championships, as you know. You were able to win at Indianapolis. How are things going right now in Indy Next, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a rough season for me, to say the least, but definitely looking forward to the race in Detroit. Never been there before, so heard it's a pretty bumpy track, so I'm excited for that. And I'm excited to get to the ovals. I mean, 4 of our last 5 races this season are ovals. Never did an oval in that car, and it's going to be pretty fast, so excited for it.
And it's interesting, right? Our pace car, Honda pace car, is bailing out here right now, so we're going to go back to green flag racing. But, yeah, like you said, 4 of the last 5 races for Indy Next are on the ovals, and Juven we'll be looking forward to those as well. Great to have him in here in the booth with us. We'll send him back up top, as I said. So restart zone essentially right over in turn number 3 and 4 where you see the red sign for Indianapolis Raceway Park. That's where you can punch off anytime there. DeFabus has not yet gone. Not a great restart for DeFabus, and that is going to put him in a challenge. He did not get a big run. Giaffoni's going to go back to the bottom, but he's the top side. Here comes Quinn Armstrong as well. Look at that move to the bottom, too, for Max Garcia. It was P5. He's going after it with his championship contender, Evagoras Papasavas. Papasavas now looks to the bottom of Quinn Armstrong. 55 laps down, 20 to go, and Papasavas able to get to the inside. He doesn't have the whole move to roll up. Quinn Armstrong's going to keep it on the top side. Throttle down. Papasavas is now up to third. Armstrong currently in the 4th spot. Can he come back? He'll go back down to the bottom. Thinks about the crisscross. This is going to allow Garcia to throw it to the bottom because Quinn had to check up a little bit. A little bit of a defense down to the bottom for Papasavas. Armstrong had to check. And Garcia thought about trying to make the move. Not able to get it done. Now he'll go to the bottom of the racetrack as well. Armstrong able to get the move done, but again, Papasavas coming out on top on that restart. DeFabus, I don't think had the best start. Probably should have punched off a bit earlier in 3 and 4. Waited, and that really kept Giaffoni with him. But in the end, just opportunities to make passes. Giaffoni wasn't able to get done immediately, and I think we're seeing right now, even that Jay Howard car is just a bad, fast race car.
Yeah, he's showing his speed now. Not the best restart for him, but definitely was able to hold that position, and that's really all that matters here. He's now 0.2 a lap faster and pulling away from the car in second, Nicholas Giaffoni. So hopefully for him, he can keep this pace, and we'll see if anyone can put up a fight later on in this race. There's still 16 laps to go, so still got a long way.
We got a while to go still. 16 laps remaining. What a win this would be for Tanner DeFabus, the local driver. He lives in Avon, folks. You guys know how close that is. This kid, to win here, dream come true. We've already talked about Juven winning at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but man, to win here in the Freedom 75 for a young driver, for Jay Howard Driver Development, the momentum and the confidence this would give him for the remainder of the season is huge. It's just so big, Juven.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, and the crowd that we get here is super cool, too. This whole crowd, they come for the Silver Crown race, they come for this race, they come for the USF Pro 2000 race, and they enjoy every bit of it. So it's a cool experience to watch and cool crowd to have here.
Indeed. Laps winding down, as we said, lap 61 in the books. 14 remain here in the Freedom 75. Biggest battle right now between the two past racing drivers, Sam Corey and Hudson Schwartz, for the last spot in the top 10. Schwartz running the bottom side on Corey, trying to see if he can't get the job done. They're side-by-side across the line again. There is Garcia to the top side. He's now battling with Xavier Kokai. As I said before, open test session on Wednesday. Kokai was the quickest in both of those 45-minute sessions, but lost it in turn 3 and 4 in the test session on Thursday. Shook him up a little bit, but he is coming back at it again. The Australian driver coming out of Formula 1600, the Australian Formula 1600 Championship program, has not had a great season so far. He's back in 18th in points, but really has been strong here on the oval. He's taken to it very nicely and is in the middle of a good scrap. He's got himself up to P4. Kokai rolling here as well.
Oh, big moment there for the 8 car. That's
Costello.
Michael Costello there. Hope he's been the biggest mover so far, moving from 15th up to the P7 place, but definitely that car getting a little loose. I wonder if he burned his tires a little bit early.
And that's what we talked about earlier, right? How much do you press early? You want to make sure you still have the tires at the end. This fight here we're seeing right now is for 5th, 6th, and 7th. That is Garcia, probably 6th, 7th, 8th. Garcia, Costello, and Cox.
Costello running that low line. It's really difficult to run the low line when you got a loose car, so he's doing it well so far, but let's see if he can hold on to that.
And that's exactly it. When you're down to the bottom like that, you've got a lot of wheel and keeping it in the bottom, and that rear end wants to step out. And another little wiggle there. You can see he's having to make those corrections on the exit when he's really back on power. What a recovery for Elliot Cox as well. Remember, folks, he was all the way back in 14th. And then now I know we had a couple of drivers out of it, but he has worked his way forward up and now to 8th spot, potentially, as we know now, battling for a spot in the top 6. In fact, he makes a move to the bottom there. I think he gets by Costello. So the 67 to Cox will be taking care of the tires a bit early. Doing a great job working his way forward.
And I can tell you Costello is not having a fun time in the car right now. Anytime the car is this loose, it's not fun for the driver. You're afraid you're going to be in the wall at any second right now, but he's doing a good job holding on to it.
Again, maybe right now thinking, hey, I got to back it down to about 70% to make sure I'm good. Spotters will stick right with him here right now. There's that run up the front straightaway here again. This is the good battle we're watching here.
Kokai also one of the biggest movers of the race, now moving into P4 from P10 at the start of the race.
He's making the move right now on Quinn Armstrong. You're talking about it there. You've great drive here for Xavier Kokai.
He's just a couple spots away from that podium position. He's got his eyes on Evagor's Papasavas there right in front of him as he makes the move for 4th. Let's see what he can do.
Yeah, the VRD card to the bottom. We know the VRD cards have been pretty good. We saw it there with Max Taylor. Of course, he'll have nothing to show for it after the contact with Ayrton Hauk. But Kokai is working his way up here now. He'll now put the crosshairs on Evagoras Papasavas. And right there onto the gearbox right now, Xavier Kokai, the Aussie.
It's going to be 5 to go at the line, so not a lot of time, but he's got the pace.
We know what it's like over the last couple of laps here. DeFabus leading the way now by 2 seconds. We're still watching this battle right now for P3 potentially. No, actually, here comes Quinn Armstrong with the 2 Aussie drivers battling it out here in Indiana. Big runner on the top. Look at Kokai running the top line.
Really high there for Kokai.
Yeah.
I think Papasavas' spotter told him to run the low line because that's what Kokai was running.
Big wiggle for Kokai. Sorry, Yuvan. He got all sorts of crossed up coming through turn number 3 and 4. Laps winding down. Here comes DeFabus out of turn number 4. It'll be 3 to go this time, but I still keying on this battle for P4. Armstrong versus Kokai. That is 4th and 5th. And that scrap there is kind of, I think, taking the pressure off of Evagoras Papasavas, who's going to close up on the point lead laid down by Max Garcia, who currently runs 6th. Garcia still getting challenged here by Elliot Cox as well. What a drive for Elliot.
And look there again, Kokai running the low line, and Papasavas' spotter telling him to also run the low line. Takes that air away from Kokai on the low line, not allowing him to make that move.
So here we go. White flag will fly this next time by. We're still kind of keying on the leaders here. That battle round for 4th and 5th, but the leader coming out of turn number 3 and 4. And away we go. White flag flying. 1 to go for Tanner DeFabus. What experience this will be for the young Avon, Indiana driver. He works his way through 1 and 2. All he has to do is negotiate 3 and 4, and it will be an Indiana driver winning here in the Freedom 75. He'll roll it into turn 3 and 4. It's got to be clean coming out of the corner. The winner of the Freedom 75, Tanner DeFabus. Big for Jay Howard Driver Development. DeFabus started 3rd. Side-by-side battle. I think Elliot Cox, he got Garcia. So DeFabus ends up as your winner. Nicholas Giafone in 2nd. Evagoras Papasavas 3rd. Quinn Armstrong 4th. Xavier Kokai 5th. And it's a big party over in the Speedway Indoor Karting Suite up here right now because Elliot Cox from 13th up into 6th. What a drive for Elliot Cox. And especially on that final lap, Cox in the 67 able to stay to the bottom, and he nips Max Garcia at the line. What was it? Trying to figure out how close it was. How about a thousandth of a second at the line? 1/1000th of a second at the line.
On my screen, it literally shows them the exact same time at the end. I think it was even less than 1,000th.
Well, the difference here is, it's crazy, right? Unbelievable. Great run there for Elliot Cox, having been back in 14th at a time. But this is absolutely massive for DeFabus. Down there right now, getting out of the car. Big for him. There's Joe Hidalgo right there. The crew's heading down there. He is pumped. Tanner DeFabus coming away with the victory. That's how much it means to win here. Absolutely elated for Tanner. Knew he had a great race car. Qualified third. I think the concept, was probably just to kind of settle in and come away with some good experience. But instead, it ends up being a victory. That car was an absolute rocket. He quickly was able to dispatch of Giafoni, worked his way into the lead, pulled away. Not the best restart, but still able to capitalize. And Tanner DeFabus, excellent job. Everybody heading over to the scales to make sure we get the weigh-in after the race. Nicholas Giafoni wanted that victory. Ends up coming home in second, but a crucial second-place finish for him as well. It's crucial points, 38 points for P2, points and a half. So for him in the championship chase, he came in here 14th. The driver who won the USF Juniors Championship last year. For him to do what he did, pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, points are a big thing, and especially with this points and a half. And he's going to get a big gap, too, on Max Garcia there, because Max Garcia did not have the greatest race and finished coming home P7. So will definitely be a good thing for him to look into.
Ewan, thank you so much, man. I know you got work to do. And hold on, there's Jay Howard. Jay Howard finally finding his way down to his driver, Tanner DeFabus. And there again, the celebration after a tremendous victory for the young driver out of Avon. Here comes Dad as well. The whole crew's coming down. Love it. The celebrations continue. Ewan, again, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Ewan Sundaram-Worthy.
Thanks for having me.
We'll watch Ewan throughout the season here in Indy next. He'll go on top now to spot for Nicholas Baptiste in the USF Pro 2000 Freedom 90. But it is definitely going to be a party down there. Team DeFabus is pumped up for sure. Huge victory for Tanner. Got to let that soak in right now. Series will bring out our victory lane podium. We'll get a chance to celebrate with these young drivers. One caution period, as we know. Ayrton Hauk, who was running a strong second, lost the rear of the car coming out at turn number 3. As it looped around, Max Taylor with nowhere to go, contact there. Both those drivers out of the race. Brady Golan was out early as well. Your top 10, Tanner DeFabus, P1, Nicholas Giafoni in second, Evagoras Papasavas in third, Quinn Armstrong fourth, Xavier Kokai, great job for Xavier, started 10th, he rolled his way up into 5th. Elliot Cox started 13th, he gets up to 6th spot. What a tremendous drive for Elliot. A 7-position improvement gets himself up there. Max Garcia ends up in 7th spot. Michael Costello, the car getting loose at the end, as we know, he ends up in 8th. Joey Brienza, who started in 11th, he goes to 9th, and Hudson Schwartz rounds out the top 10. There's the two drivers there. Jay Howard, driver development, putting 2 of them on the podium with the winner DeFabus and third-place finisher Evagoras Papasavas. They flank Nicholas Giafoni, but that was a big win for Tanner DeFabus and really did not put a wheel wrong at all. He was on it throughout that entire race. So impressive the way he was able to handle the number 1, the conditions itself, and number 2, then the restart, able to pull away as well. So we'll get things dialed in here soon with the victory lane celebrations, the podium working its way around from inside the paddock. Get a chance to get these drivers up on the podium and celebrate their accomplishments here at IRP today. USF Pro 2000 drivers back in the paddock, strapped in and ready to go. We'll pull them out here as soon as we get close to the victory lane celebrations. Those teams bringing all their equipment into pit lane now. Getting an opportunity for a lot of the cars that were part of the USAC events to load up and get themselves out there as well. And again, coming down here to victory lane. Time to celebrate these young drivers. Again, we always talk about the fact that USF Pro Championships are really the future stars of the NTT IndyCar Series. These are the racers you're going to see at the Speedway of the Indy 500 many years. So we look at the USF Pro 2000 category that's rolling out here momentarily. You look at the last 6 years. You got Miles Rowe and Louis Foster, the champions of the last 2 years. They're running in Indy Next right now. But then the 4 champions before, all in IndyCar and all running in the 500 this weekend. Christian Rasmussen, Stingray Robb, Kyle Kirkwood, and Renus VK. This USF Pro Championship just builds IndyCar drivers. That's what we're here for, to send these drivers on this road to Indianapolis. So getting ready to get things underway down here in Victory Lane. Get the champagne laid out. We'll get a chance to bring our top 3 drivers up here. What a tremendous drive it was, and we'll get a chance to celebrate the winner, again, from nearby Avon. Always awesome to have a local winner like this, and I'm sure he'll be thrilled. Almost getting set to go here, folks. I think we are underway. Yeah, we're ready to go. Let's get down to Victory Lane, folks. Let's start with a driver coming home in 3rd place. Another podium finish. It is his 6th podium finish. Finishing in 3rd for J. Howard Driver Development, Evagoras Papasavas. Finishing in 2nd spot, started on the pole. Big run up to P2 to hold on to the spot. Good points for D-Force Racing. 2nd place today in the Freedom 75, Nicholas Giaffone. But how about this, folks? Hometown boy from Avon gets the victory. His first win in the USF Pro Championships. Today's winner of the Freedom 75 for J. Howard Driver Development, Tanner DeFamus. Flawless run for Tanner. Absolutely spectacular. Shout out to the J. Howard Driver Development crew for giving him a hot rod. They had that thing tuned up. It was perfect on the bottom. It was perfect on the top. He handled the starts and restarts well. What a fantastic performance for Tanner. And again, all 3 of these young drivers, so talented. Tanner, Nicholas, and Evagoras. They will have their sights set on the USF Pro 2000 level to be just 2 steps away from IndyCar. Grip it and rip it, boys. Have some fun. Let's get that champagne spraying. Oh, they're going after Tanner hard. That's what you get when you win your first race win here in the USF Pro Championship program. Evagoras is going to finish him off. Once again, folks, how about a round of applause for the drivers here in USF 2000, the local winner, Tanner DeFamus. So impressive. It will be a fun evening for that crew and that family, having won here in the Freedom 75. And we talked to Yuvan Sundaramurthy about it, how important it is in terms of confidence and momentum for a young driver like Tanner to get that victory. Huge for him, huge for J. Howard Driver Development to get back on the top of the box here at the Freedom. They've done it before. But again, another group of racers still to come as we have our drivers in the USF Pro 2000 category getting ready to come out here as well. Looking forward to a big one there. This is going to be a great race. Again, those drivers already strapped in, as we said. They'll be out here momentarily. Talking about all the partners that we have involved in our program here, VP being one of them. VP Racing is the exclusive fuel supplier for all 3 levels of the USF Pro Championships. In 2021, VP expanded their role and became the official lubricant and coolant. In addition to VP Racing engine oil and VP Racing gear oil, this includes VP Racing's new line of Stay Frosty Performance engine coolants. Get an opportunity to watch these USF Pro Championship drivers for the first time. Download our mobile app, our USF Pro Championships mobile app. Awesome opportunity to be able to follow all the live coverage is on there. The Climb, our documentary, new episode of The Climb just being debuted here yesterday. Pick that up as well. Have a chance to watch that as well. The Climb's a great opportunity to look deeper into a number of the drivers we have. That's all available on the app, of course. So here come our drivers right now in the USF Pro 2000 category. as they roll up here. We'll have a look at the grid of 19 drivers set to go, and this is a 90-lapper. We had 75 laps for the drivers in USF 2000. We talked about the massive grip levels that we have with these Continental tires. These drivers are pulling way more G's than they used to, and so it's going to be a tough one for these guys for sure. 90 laps. 19 drivers set to go. Tyke Durst had an issue in practice and wasn't able to qualify. He'll start from the tail of the field in 19th in the Turn 3 Motorsports machine. Durst, a rookie, in the 33. Row number 9 will have Charles Finelli from Fat Boy Racing in the number 83. Here's the story, folks, those of you in the grandstands and watching here at home. We have drivers, as we know, anywhere from 15 to 20, 21, 24 years of age. That number 83, Charles Finelli, 60 years young. And he is loving it, really dedicated himself to his fitness in the offseason. He's looking for a top 10 here. He feels really comfortable. Charles Finelli, 60 years old, in the number 83. He'll start alongside Nicolas Baptiste from Bogota, Colombia for BN Racing, his first oval event. Baptiste will roll off here in the number 74 P17. Row 8 will be George Garciarce, the Mexican for D-Force Racing in the number 10, starting 16th. Alongside him, a driver who comes in here sitting 4th in points from New Zealand, his first chance to run on an oval. TJ Speed Motorsports, Liam Skeets in the number 26, aiming to work his way forward. Row number 7 now will have the Brazilian Nicolas Monteiro on the outside for D-Force Racing in the number 9. Inside for Pabst Racing, Christian Brooks out of California in the number 19. Row 6 now on the outside. Another Californian, Fast Frankie Mossman in the number 6 for Jay Howard Driver Development. They're looking for another win here, having got one already with DeFabus. He'll start on the outside of Mexican Ricardo Escoto for BN Racing. Escoto in the number 77, starting in 11th. Up now to row number 5 on the outside. Last year's USF 2000 champion coming off a victory at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course. Simon Sykes in the number 18 for Pabst will roll off from 10th outside of row 5 alongside Francesco Pizzi. A one-off start here this weekend for Pizzi. He is focused on trying to get back into the Indy Next Series. Did a full season with us last year, taking the spot of Hunter Yaney, who was not able to race here this weekend. Pizzi in the 27, starting in 9th. Row 4 will have the Canadian Matt Clark, the driver who won here last year in USF 2000, the Canadian for D-Force Racing. Matt Clark starting 8th outside of row number 4. And on the inside, your current point leader right now, 15 years of age. He'll turn 16 tomorrow for VRD Racing. Multi-time winner on the season already, Nikita Johnson in the number 17, starting in 7th. Row number 3 on the outside, a driver who is a full-time Indy Next racer, but using this weekend to get the opportunity to get some oval experience, and that is Bryce Aaron, the American racing for Andretti Global in Indy Next. To run for TJ Speed here this weekend. He had a great run in qualifying, ends up starting 6th spot outside of row 3. Inside from Los Angeles, California for Turn 3 Motorsports, Ethan Ho in the number 68, starting 5th. Row number 2 now will have Lockie Hughes, a winner of the first race of the season in St. Petersburg. Currently rolls in here 3rd in points. Lockie Hughes from Australia, now living here in Indianapolis for Turn 3 Motorsports, the number 44, starting 4th. Alongside him, his 15-year-old teammate Danny Deshelski for Turn 3 Motorsports in the number 3, Deshelski, starting 3rd. 19 drivers in the field, 2 on the front row, off pole. Now living here in Indianapolis. In fact, lives about 5 minutes here from the racetrack. Born in Arizona, lived in Arizona, now living here in Indianapolis. That is Jace Denmark for Pabst Racing in the number 20. Outside front row starter for Jace Denmark, veteran driver in the USF Pro Championships, looking for the first win of the season. But the driver that will lead them to the green flag here today for Exclusive Autosport. Not only is he the pole sitter, not only did he reset the outright track record, as well as the 2-lap average, no one has gone faster around this IRP circuit than Braden Eves for Exclusive Autosport in the number 92. An outright track record for Braden Eves with a fantastic lap. The average speed, 126.565 miles per hour. Former USF 2000 champion. He will start in the number 92 Corpay machine on the pole. Eves and Denmark on row 1. Deshelski and Hughes on row 2. Ho and Aaron on row 3. Row 4 will be Johnson and Clark. Row 5, Pizzi and Sykes. Row 6, Escoto and Mossman. Row 7, Brooks and Monteiro. Row 8, Skeets and Garciarce. Row 9, Baptiste and Finelli. And row 10 will be Tyke Durst. Let's have a look, folks, at my keys to the race right now as the drivers have just fired up their engines. USF Pro 2000 keys of the race. This is what these drivers have to be looking at to try to see if they can't come away with some success. I had said clean start for USF 2000. I'm going to go aggressive opening lap here in USF Pro. This is an opportunity to make passes. The veterans up front are going to be attacking like crazy on that opening lap to see if they can't scrap for positions. Number 2, handle traffic. We saw a bit of it with USF 2000. Traffic is going to play a role mid-race, and the drivers must dispatch of those slower cars quickly. And last but not least, gym time. Who's put the time in the gym? We've talked about the increased grip of these Continental tires. It's going to be super tough on these drivers in the waning laps. A lot of chatter about if they're going to be able to make it to the end. That's how tough it is. These tires have a monster load of grip. So who has been in the gym? Who's been on the cardio machine? Who's been working up that upper body? These cars very heavy into the mid-corner. They got so much wheel on it. These guys are going to be exhausted when it's all said and done. But again, we'll see who is able to bring it home. Top 5 in points right now as we get set to go. As I said before, Nikita Johnson, your top driver in the points with 172 points. Hunter Yaney not here in second. Lockie Hughes in third. Liam Skeets in fourth. And Christian Brooks, who starts deep in the field. Brooks back in 13th, currently P5 in the points. And Nikita Johnson still with that point lead despite technical disqualification in race number 2 at Indianapolis. Field forming up on the back straightaway. Time to get things underway here for the drivers in USF Pro 2000 and the Freedom 90. The event, of course, was scrapped last night with the rain that we had. Back here for an afternoon run on a what is now a cloud-covered Saturday. Field set. Getting ready to roll, and we're at it. Green, green, green. And a great start for Eves as he'll go to the top side of the racetrack and try to stretch away early. Johnson right there as well, side by side of the two turn 3 cars in third and fourth. Here goes Jace Denmark thinking about the bottom of the racetrack early. Cold tires though, Eves is on top. He's going to get a big run out of turn number 4. Both those drivers stretching away. Eves holds the spot here. So Braden Eves leading. An early challenge in turn 3 for Jace Denmark, but Eves has a great race car here this weekend. Exclusive Autosport have won the last 2 races here in USF Pro 2000 with Salvador de Alba and Louis Foster. Both those drivers have moved on into the Indy Next Series. You see the scholarship colors of Simon Sykes there in the bottom part of the racetrack as well. Eves with a big lead here early. How does he handle this? Does he just go out and try to put people down laps because he's so quick? You got to think about the way this car is going to be, the heavy steering. Opening lap, Eves is the leader. Denmark goes second. Lockie Hughes third. Bryce Aaron fourth. Danny Dashelski in 5th spot. Matt Clark 6th. Ethan Hull falls back to 7th. Nikita Johnson 8th. Simon Sykes 9th. And Francesco Pizzi 10th. Matt Clark right there in the number 7. Able to get by Danny Dashelski, I believe. So move Matt Clark up a spot. He knows how to get around this oval. He stood on top of the box here last year as the winner of the Freedom 75 in USF 2000. So again, Matt Clark looking for it. Again, we'll give a shout out to everybody watching on the USF Pro Championships YouTube channel. Hope you're enjoying it. Chat looks to be vibrant today. Braden Eves is checking out, folks. He is long gone. But this could be a battle here. This is Matt Clark looking to try to roll up on Bryce Aaron. And again, really cool to see Bryce come out here. Full-time driver in the Indy Next Series. Did a lot of racing overseas. But as we talked about with Juven, 4 of the last 5 races on the Indy Next schedule are ovals. And Bryce has never run an oval before. Iowa Speedway will be the first one up. So a great opportunity for him to get here, run with TJ Speed, get a feel for what it's like to run an oval before he goes to Iowa. So I think the experience gained here for Bryce is going to be great. He's got good speed as well. So everybody's settling in here now. Matt Clark continues to go to work. This is Simon Sykes. Sykes battling it out right now with Frankie Mossman. I think Mossman was able to get by. So Frankie Mossman able to get a spot. He makes a move by. That, I believe, is for 10th. Yeah, move Frankie Mossman up into 10th position. Started 12th, plus 2 already. Mossman moving. Braden Eves, though, flat checking out up front. He has got a massive lead already. And this is when you can kind of settle in a little bit. We talked about it with Juven in the USF 2000 race. What do? Do you back up a little bit, take care of the tires, knowing it's going to be a rough run? They've done a great job with that car. It's been a hot rod for sure. Picking up this other battle here a little further back. That's Ethan Ho. Currently running, I believe Ethan is in the 7th spot. That's Nikita Johnson behind him. So that really, there is the scrap right now for 7th position. Nikita's going to go to the bottom side of the track. That clean air on the bottom. We saw Tanner DeFabis really leverage the bottom when he was able to get by Nicholas Giaffoni in USF 2000. He's to the bottom right now. Ethan's going to hold that top side. The thing about the top side is it's a lot easier on the tires. You get a better run. You're normally on the throttle earlier because you don't have so much wheel in it. You don't have that thing really cranked down. Nikita holding the bottom. Laps clicking away. They'll put, I think, lap 15 when Braden Eves get back around. Johnson continues to try to go to the bottom there. Trying to get by Ethan Ho for P7. You know, we talked about this in the Oval Clinic with these young drivers here on Thursday morning. When we had Brian Herta, Charlie Kimball, and R.C. Enerson sit down with them and really go over a lot of the intricacies of oval racing. And it was the fact that sometimes passes take 4 or 5 laps to get done. When you're on the bottom, when you're trying to get it to stick, you're not quite clear. Sometimes, obviously, the best opportunity to make an overtake is when you get up to that lap traffic and you're able to pick someone, make that classic pick move. You hold the driver up top, get him in the dirty air, and you're running the bottom. Right now, early though, not a lot of that happening. So Braden Eves has almost a quarter track lead. There he is there. Braden is flying right now here in the exclusive Autosport Corpay machine. Closing up now, I believe, on Tyke Durst. You see him go down a bit to the bottom. There's going to be some dirty air up top. But again, you don't want to go to the bottom too much to burn those tires up. We know the tires are going to be potentially a question mark near the end of the race here, as well as driver fitness. You see Eves rolled up nicely on Durst. But again, you don't want to lose the front end of that car, that dirty air. See if he's able to make a run here. Out of turn number 4. Or, yeah, to turn number 2, down the back straightaway. Tucks back to the bottom. Durst is going to run the high side. First time Braden's really had to deal with any kind of turbulent air or any deviation from the racing line that he had. He's now clear. He'll drive it back up to the top, so he gets by Tyke Durst. 20 laps down. Still 70 to go. We know a 90 lapper for these drivers. It's tough. Eves looks good out front. You got to wait for the next driver, which is Jace Denmark. Denmark's got a second on Lockie Hughes himself as well. There's a great scrap there as well. Let's pick up that one. That's Danny Dashelski trying to get by Aaron. Bryce Aaron's up to 4th, and Danny Dashelski, just 15 years of age. Splits his time both running here in USF Pro 2000 and does a lot of radical racing as well. He's done some sports car racing recently. Oh, you see that? It's not big for us watching it. Massive inside the car. A bit of a moment there for Dashelski as he had to get some correction going mid-corner. And that's losing the air off the front of the car. Just the one caution, as we said, in the USF 2000 race after Ayrton Hauk lost the rear end of his DC Autosport machine rolling out of turn number 2. Max Taylor got caught up in that as well. There's the 77 of Ascotto battling it out with Francesco Pizzi. He goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and guess who else is coming? Fast Frankie Mossman in the Jay Howard car. He's now up on Pizzi. He's going to go to the bottom. Pizzi's going to run that midline. Defensive midline run, and that's not, look at this. Look at everybody else is coming up here. Wow. Pizzi's going to be the guy that's holding everybody up, because here comes Mossman, Sykes, Garcia. There's Sykes to the high side there in that scholarship livery. He gets a huge run on Mossman, and Mossman getting checked up by Pizzi has allowed Simon Sykes to go to the bottom. Side by side out of turn number 4. I talked about the pick move. You may not get the full pick, but it's more keeping Mossman up in the dirty air. Pizzi running big time defensive line in the middle. That's why it's stacking everybody else up behind him. The 74 of Baptiste, Garcia there as well. This time Mossman's going to go to the high. They're all probably going to go try to roll around the high side on Pizzi. Does Sykes get a better run? He does. So Mossman finally going to the high side. Beautiful adjustment there. I mentioned that early, right, in the keys to the race. You've got to be ready to adapt, and that was a fantastic adjustment. We saw Pizzi run in the midline, not the low line, not the high line. And finally, Mossman able to get around. He's flat checked out as well. So has Simon Sykes. So Pizzi's in trouble here right now. It is not a great hot rod. He's in fact got his teammate Liam Skeets coming up here as well. I think that's Braden Eves coming through to put them a lap down. Indeed, he has. So Eves is starting to put guys a lap down here. That is a hot rod for Exclusive Autosport. They're looking to get their 3rd straight Freedom 90. Eves isn't going to be pleased with this, because again, more mid-lining as Skeets is going to go back down the inside of the leader. This is not what Braden Eves wants. He doesn't want to be battling around a couple of guys that could be having some trouble. Big run around the top. That's a better run for Eves. The 2 TJ Speed cars currently running in 14th and 15th. Skeets now trying to go to the bottom. Pizzi doesn't want to give it up. You wonder if you'll get some team orders or not here, because Skeets is in the championship fight. Remember, he's currently running in 4th in the points. Hunter Yaney's not here this weekend. Skeets got an opportunity to potentially, well, he will move up into at least 3rd. He needs a better run. He's back down in 15th right now. Hughes is 3rd. 31 laps down. There's Christian Brooks there. Brooks is in the middle of the fight as well. That's Nicholas Montiero right there. Hasn't been a good day here for Christian Brooks, back now in the 15th spot. Yeah, driver slowing down the back straightaway, and I think that may be Pizzi. I think Francesco Pizzi may be electing to park this car as he goes down to the pit lane, back part of the racetrack. Braden Eves lead now 2.5 seconds over Jace Denmark. He got caught up a little bit there in the lap traffic. Oh, what a battle here in the front straightaway as well. Let's see if we can pick that up into turn 1 and 2. Mossman still going at it. This is a good fight. The Mossman-Sykes-Baptiste battle is going to be a good one here. Here they come down into turn number 3. Mossman was able to get back around. This is some good racing here. Sykes to the bottom. They were side by side again coming up at 4, a lap ago. Sykes back to the bottom again, trying to get it to stick. Again, the fight for 10th. Eves leads, Denmark 2nd, Hughes 3rd, Bryce Aaron 4th, Dashelski 5th, Ho 6th, Matt Clark 7th, Nikita Johnson 8th, Ricardo Ascotto 9th, and Frankie Mossman 10th. 35 laps down, 55 still to go in the Freedom 90. Capping off the only oval event for both USF 2000 and USF Pro 2000 here in 2024. Simon Sykes was able to get by Mossman, and now it's Baptiste, Nicholas Baptiste from Colombia. His first oval race. Yuvan Sunder-Murthy we had in the booth, spotting for him right now. He's trying to see if he can't finish this off. Sykes is up the road. He's into 10th. Sykes will now look to see if he can't close up on Ricardo Ascotto, but he's well up the order as well. So Braden Eves now closing up on this group. Eves trying to put 12th and 11th down a lap. Mossman gives him the room. Jace Denmark continues to chase. Again, down to the bottom for Eves. He's going to get by Baptiste. He'll look up the road now to Simon Sykes. Again, we're going to start talking about the physicality of these cars here pretty soon and the high grip levels of the Continental tires that allowed us to break track records here this weekend. The only track record that didn't get broken was the outright single lap pace in USF 2000. That's still from the year 2000 for Aaron Justice. Again, picking up the car there, Christian Brooks, and behind him, Nicholas Montiero, and then I believe Tyke Durst. Actually, that might be Jashelski coming through. That's Danny Jashelski, I believe, coming through. Yeah, he's trying to put these guys down a lap as well. Jashelski working his way through lap traffic. Danny Jashelski running in fourth, rather. Good drive for Danny. He's 15 years of age. Over 3 seconds now to lead for Braden Eves. There he is. He's just got by Simon Sykes, so he's lapped his way up to 10th. Down the back chute for Eves. Braden Eves needs a big finish. This is the guy that won the USF 2000 championship a number of years ago. Had a really bad wreck, as we most of us remember, at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway 2020. Got upside down. He has had a rough start to the season for sure. Decent, actually a solid St. Pete. 5th in the opening round, 8th in the second round. NOLA was rough. 12th, 16th, and 16th. 18th in the opening round at IMS. Came back to 4th in race number 2 and then 11th in race number 3. This would be huge for him in terms of the points. Could vault him up very likely into the top 7. Potentially bring a championship discussion back for Braden Eves. Exclusive Autosport won the USF Pro 2000 title 2 years ago with Louis Foster. That driver now definitely in a championship fight in Indy next. Eves has been on this racetrack before and is performing flawlessly. 4 seconds now over Jace Denmark. Denmark's got open track, having gotten by the number 74 of Nicholas Baptiste. Again, handling the lap traffic. I mentioned that as one of my keys to the race is you have to handle it correctly. You've got to get by them quickly. There's Jace Denmark, currently P2 in the Pabst Racing Machine. Jace, another driver looking for a big finish, currently 6th place in points, 2 podiums, a couple of third-place runs. So a third podium would be big for him. Yellow flag flying, and we have a driver in the wall in turn 4. Driver is compact. That is Ethan Ho, we believe, in the wall in turn number 4. Right front damage. And another driver in the wall up in turn number 3 as well. That's Nikita Johnson, I think. So Nikita Johnson, they were battling, I believe, for position. Johnson in the wall up in turn number 3, and Ho a little further down the road. AMR IndyCar safety team getting Nikita Johnson right now. Ethan Ho climbing out. Great to see. Right front and potentially left rear damage. Lost a rear wing. Our replay not working here this weekend, so we're not able to go back and check that out to see what happened. But yellow flag coming here on lap number 46. So this could be a good opportunity for a lot of these drivers to kind of rest those arms a little bit, because as we know, it was tough. 4-second lead going by the wayside for Braden Eves, but he'll take, I think everybody will take the break here. And that is there's Nikita Johnson walking away. That is, again, great news. You see the wing there, the rear wing of Ho. You wonder whether or not Ethan may have lost the rear and potentially nowhere to go for Nikita. Got pinned up into the wall. Again, I didn't have a chance to see it. Yellow flag flying here, though. We're going to turn some caution flag laps. Simon Sykes rolling down into pit lane. I don't know why he rolled into pit lane. He's currently 8th. Maybe he thought that they were going to go that way. I'm going to pick this up here as they come through. You see they're coming through the crash site there. Drivers in the bottom part of the racetrack. Oh, no. Sykes coming into pit lane. They're looking at the car like there may be something wrong with the machine of Simon Sykes here right now. Not quite sure what it is. That's tough for him. He was up to 8th position. Simon running 7th place in points, coming off that huge victory in the back end of the triple header at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The crew going to work, trying to find out what's going on here with him. So let's reset you then. Braden Eves is the leader. Second spot is Jace Denmark. Third, Lockie Hughes. Fourth, Danny Jashelski. Fifth, Bryce Aaron. Sixth, Matt Clark. Seventh, Ricardo Escoto. Simon Sykes was 8th, but he's going to fall now down the field. So that's going to move Nicholas Baptiste up to 8th, Frankie Mossman to 9th, and George Garciarce up into 10th. How about Nicholas Baptiste, folks? He started in 17th position. The Colombian now up into 8th. He has done a tremendous job here. What a drive for Baptiste. Very impressive. But as I had said, a lot of the talk yesterday in the paddock was the massive grip levels, the G-load on the tires, and, of course, on the drivers, the physicality of really having to turn that wheel to the point where it's almost ready to jerk itself out of your hands. This is actually going to be a nice little break. Matt Clark coming into pit lane as well. Clark in and out of pit lane. I don't know that he lost a lap at all. So Matt Clark pits from P7. Now, one thing is, I won't drop. Well, Sykes is still in pit lane. I was going to say that a lot of these guys have already gone down a lap. I think there's only 7 cars still on the lead lap. And I think Clark's still being one of them, even though he came into pit lane very, very briefly. We did have, in that extended run we have, is you have a good look at the car there. Quite a bit of damage to the machine of Ethan Ho, who was having a good run. Yeah, I think we have 7 drivers on the lead lap right now. Eves, Denmark, Hughes, Dashelski, Aaron, Escoto, and Clark on the lead lap. Baptiste in 8th, Mossman 9th, Garciarce 10th, Skeets 11th, Brooks in 12th, Montiero 13th, and Durst 15th. 1 lap down. Simon Sykes is actually climbing out of the car. Oh, Simon Sykes coming off the win in Indianapolis has climbed out of the Pabst racing machine. That will be it for him. He's going to finish in 15th. Ethan Ho 16th, Nikita Johnson, Francesco Pizzi, and Tyke Durst out of this race. 14 drivers. No, Tyke Durst is still on track. Sorry, I'm looking at live timing. They actually have Tyke on there at the very tail as well. Tyke's still on track. And just a lap down. Good. I wanted him to get the experience. That's awesome. So 53 laps down. Still work getting cleaned up, so we're going to get a couple more laps. This is going to be a nice rest for the drivers here who have been on the throttle, wearing out that upper body. Braden Eves continues to lead, as we know, in the number 92 exclusive Autosport, the Corpay car. Denmark running in second. Got a good job working his way through the lap traffic. So Matt Clark back out onto the track. Last driver on the lead lap with 54 laps in, so he is 7th for Matt Clark. Tail the field, though, having come into pit lane. Safety vehicle still on the racetrack, so we're going to get at least one more lap around, maybe more. Track sweeper getting up there to clean up any debris as well. 73 degrees here trackside. A little cooler than it was during Thursday and Friday. Great to see you folks hanging out with us here on a Saturday afternoon. Get a chance to see the Hoosier 100 Midget Show. And, of course, a couple of races here in the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tire. So again, folks, we take the opportunity just to let everybody know that all the USF Pro Championship entries on track right now are carrying a decal to acknowledge the Indiana University Melvin and Bren Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center and the outstanding work that they do. This is a central hub for cancer research and education across Indiana University, and over the last 3 decades, their far-reaching discoveries have changed the way cancer is treated around the world with accelerated life-saving cancer research. So again, fantastic to be able to support the Indiana University Melvin and Bren Simon Comprehensive Cancer Center. We're going to go green flag racing when we get back around. It'll be lap 57 of 90. 33 laps to go. Pace car to the pit lane. Into the hands of Braden Eves. Jace Denmark right there, as is Lucky Hughes, but there is a lap car between. Punch off for Eves. And away we go. Jace Denmark thinks about the bottom part of the racetrack, but a top line for Eves works. We're 2x2 a couple of ways back. Lucky Hughes going to go to the bottom of the lap car that was there, P3. Another dive to the bottom here for Jace Denmark. Eves will hold it coming out. Denmark close, though, on the bottom. We got ourselves a challenge for the lead. Jace Denmark trying to work after Braden Eves, still on the top side. Eves gets a better run. Denmark right there. Eves will come across a little bit, I think, to take some of the air off there. Again, top side. Braden Eves has made it work. Couple of veteran drivers here through USF 2000 and USF Pro. Eves is going to try to see if he can't stretch away like he has. Denmark keeping it down to the bottom. Both drivers looking for their first win of the 2024 season. Denmark again down to the bottom of the racetrack. Lucky Hughes currently runs in third. Denmark doing a good job down the bottom. Eves continues to use the top. You wonder what that's going to do to the tires as well. He's got to hold them down there. So tough. Update from pit lane. The issue for Simon Sykes. Potentially something hitting the radiator. So the temps soared. Radiator damage for Simon Sykes after a really good run. Braden Eves continues to run that clean top line. Denmark right with him. Keeps going to the bottom. Tires back up to temperature again. Eves trying to stretch away, but he has not been able to do it. Jace Denmark right there. Eves looks so good in that top line. See if he can't pull away a little bit more. It's Denmark having to go to the bottom to make it work, and that's, of course, going to stress those tires out. Lucky Hughes all by himself now in third. Fourth and fifth, Danny Jashelski. I think he's battling it out here right now with Frankie Mossman, but Mossman's a lap back. So Frankie Mossman a lap back. Bryce Aaron runs fifth. Escoto sixth. Clark seventh. Again, those are your lead lap drivers. Braden Eves able to fend off the early challenges from Jace Denmark, who is now slotted back into second. 26 laps to go. And I think that midway point yellow helped a lot of these drivers. Here's the fight further back with Christian Brooks and Nicholas Montiero. Montiero on the bottom side, Christian Brooks up top. Similar to what we saw with Eves and Denmark. Brooks trying to hold that top side. Again, that is the fight right now for 12th and 13th. Montiero able to clean him to the bottom. So Nicholas Montiero, the D-Force driver. No, that's actually the 7 of Matt Clark. Pardon me. Montiero's still running there right behind Brooks, but that is actually Clark working his way through. I just picked up the D-Force card, figured it was Montiero, but no, it's Clark coming through. For Clark to get a spot, he'd need to get all the way back up to a Scoto. That's a fight between George Garcia-Arce, the D-Force driver, and Liam Skeets, trying to get himself into the top 10. Liam currently 11th spot, started 15th. Top 10, I think, would be good for Liam. You'll take it, especially with the point leader, Nikita Johnson, was involved in that incident with Ethan Ho. So the points are going to fall. And again, remember, points and a half for this race as well. So Lockie Hughes trying to find some to get back up. Liam Skeets, Jace Denmark. This will be big for Braden Eves as well. Really impressive run for Nicolas Baptiste. That's actually, I think, for position. Both these drivers are a lap back, Baptiste and Mossman. I believe that's Bryce Aaron going by, yeah. So there's Bryce in the TJ Speed car. He's a lap up on them. He's P5. 20 laps remain. It's a 0.8 of a second lead right now for Braden Eves. Top three drivers running clean and green out front. Eves, Denmark, and Hughes. That's Bryce Aaron. And what a great weekend it's been for Bryce. Again, coming in here to try to get some oval experience before heading to Iowa Speedway. A full season driver for Andretti Global in Indy next, and he has really been strong. Qualifying effort, first lap wasn't perfect, second lap was a lot better, but good speed outright to be able to start where he did outside of row number 3, now running P5. It's just been there was obviously a goal. There was obviously a game plan for Bryce. Get here, experience, learn, get a feel for it, and he's checked off all the boxes right now. I think this has been a great run for Bryce Aaron. He'll be very pleased. Podium would have been nice for sure, although we're not said and done yet. He and Danny Dashelski would have to reel in Lockie Hughes. I don't think that's happening. They're rolling. Dashelski's getting close, though. Hughes and Dashelski, yep. There they are there. That's Hughes to the left. Dashelski coming from the back. Dashelski 12th in points. A fourth place finish is going to help move him up into the top 10. He's not done, though. There's Lockie Hughes. Won the opening round at St. Petersburg. Had a rough go of it at NOLA. And then came back with 3 straight podiums at Indianapolis on the road course. This will be huge for Lockie. Australian driver, now living here in Indianapolis. Tremendous talent. Won a bunch of races last year in USF 2000. Battled Simon Sykes for majority of the season for the title. Moving over to Turn 3 Motorsports. Peter and Mandy Dempsey's program here for 2024 and has been very impressive as a rookie here in USF Pro. There's Denmark. The chase continues. Eves up the road. 1.3 second now the lead for Braden Eves and for Exclusive Autosport, trying to win their 3rd straight Freedom 90. 2 years ago, you go back to Louis Foster. Last year, Salvador de Alba. Trying to do it again. Denmark keeps pushing. 1.2 seconds the gap. Denmark about a 10th quicker last time by. I think E is probably managing things now. We know how physically difficult it is for these drivers in these last couple laps. It'll be 11 laps to go. Brooks and Montiero continue to battle as they work up into turn 1. They're side by side for the majority of the last lap. There's Danny Dashelski, just 15 years of age, and he's been impressive this year as well. Although he's back in 12th in points, he's had some good runs. They've been balanced off by DNFs and bad runs. He was 3rd in the second race at St. Petersburg, got a top 5 4th at NOLA, 7th in a race at Indianapolis. He's just been balancing those off with finishes where he's had DNFs or incidents. The pace is there for Dushelski, for sure. He'll be impressive when he comes back here as a second-year driver in 2025. I'll tell you this, Lucky Hughes I don't think is done with Jace Denmark either. Even though the laps are winding down, 9 more to go here in the Freedom 90. Lucky Hughes is closing up on Jace Denmark. All of these drivers, with Nikita Johnson having DNF, with an opportunity to make huge gains in the championship. Lockie running in third. Let me look at the points here. That's 33 points. I don't think it won't be enough for him to take over the point lead, but he's going to definitely get close. I think Ricardo Escoto is in the pit lane. An issue for the 77 has come to pit lane, and he's going back out onto the racetrack. So Escoto had to come to the pits. Not sure why. That is going to drop him down the order to 14th. That moves Matt Clark up to 6th. Remember, he was at the tail of the lead lap. So Clark goes back to P6. 6 to go. Where is Braden Eves now? Coming out of turn number 4. Tyke Durst is in front of him. Laps clicking away. There's Eves there. Tyke Durst doing a great job, though. Didn't get a chance to get as much lap time as he wanted. Didn't get a chance to qualify. He's banking good experience here for Tyke. Currently running 13th. Staying out of trouble. Exactly what you want a young driver to do when you're learning here on the oval. Eves getting that, half lane down to try to get a little bit of air on the front wing. You don't want to get too much turbulent air. He knows he's quicker. Got a big battle in front of him as well between Garcia Arce, Brooks, and Monteiro for 10th, 11th, and 12th. Laps are winding down enough that I don't think Eves is going to have to worry about it. He's side by side coming and getting by Durst. It'll be 2 to go next time by. 87 laps in the books. He is closing up on that battle in front of him, but they're no longer side by side. Denmark is going to push all the way to the end because he knows there's lap traffic coming. Eves still holding on to the top side here. He set the outright track record here at IRP. No one's gone faster around this racetrack than Braden Eves. White flag will fly this time by. Denmark's going to try to get to the bottom of Durst. He's got to watch out for the 44 of Hughes as well. He'll go to the bottom. That can't quite get it done. Hughes is going to get a big run here down the back straightaway. When it comes to teams, folks, we call this back-to-back-to-back jacks. Exclusive Autosport will win again in the Freedom 90, and Braden Eves back to victory lane. What a drive for Braden Eves. Flawless winning today. Excellent run for Jace Denmark. Pushed hard on the restart, not quite enough. Lockie Hughes was pushing at the end as well. A race win like this, folks, can turn things around, and it's been a tough season for Braden Eves. 45 points, a huge race win. He'll be a happy camper down in pit lane for sure. Big championship implications with the DNF for Nikita Johnson, the incident in turn 3 and 4 with he and Ethan Ho. That blows things wide open and closes everybody back up. We'll have Eves, Denmark, and Hughes, 3 different teams as well. Exclusive Paps in turn 3 on the podium. You're going to see a happy guy here. Although maybe muted, I'm not sure. We'll see a full-on explosion of emotion for Braden Eves. He's usually a pretty focused guy. Didn't get a chance to be in a car last year. Back with exclusive Autosport here. He's going to go up on the front. Hey, I wonder how tired he is. We talked about how tough it is. And he is pumped. Yeah, folks, round of applause for him for sure. Braden Eves, huge. We'll signal to the crowd. He needed that so badly. And there is John Hayes, his engineer as well. We talk a lot about the connection between the drivers and the engineers. It's so crucial. The engineers have to trust the drivers and vice versa. And again, Exclusive Autosport, folks, back-to-back-to-back wins. 3 straight victories here in the Freedom 90 for Exclusive. That's big. Braden having a quick chat with his mechanic Danny as well. A lot of trust in that program, but great for Braden to get himself back to victory lane. Well-deserved. Awesome run for Jace Denmark. On that restart, he laid it all out. He essentially tried everything he had. Bottom line, they were side by side a couple of times. Eventually, with ease, just running that top line, he was fine. He was able to hold that spot. Jace did the best he could. And in the end, in fact, getting chased down a little bit by Lockie Hughes, the Australian in the 44 for turn 3. A couple more laps. I think Lockie might have been able to challenge. But up the road, it was Braden Eves with a big win. Can't talk about how crucial that is, again, for a young driver. Big victories we talked about as well for Tanner DeFabus in USF 2000. Braden Eves, although he does come from Ohio, now living here in Indianapolis as well. So many drivers, as we know, young drivers, moving to Indianapolis to be part of the racing capital of the world. Again, getting things dialed in for Victory Lane here. We'll have our celebrations to wrap things up. Again, those of you tuned in to follow the broadcast here on the USF Pro Champs YouTube channel, we're thrilled that you were with us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Get a chance to let these drivers do some celebrations here. We hoped it was going to be last night, but we'll take it here today. Great runs for all these drivers. And again, we talked about early the issues potentially for the physical side of this, whether drivers are going to kind of fall out of the seat a little bit. Kudos to every one of these drivers who made it through. I guarantee that they are absolutely exhausted right now. So shout out to them for being able to make it here. Only the one incident midway through. Drivers get a chance to chat with each other down there a little bit. I always like that, the post-race. Debrief a little bit of how things happened. Braden Eves, tremendous. 6 drivers finishing on the lead lap. Eves, Denmark, Lockie Hughes. Behind them, Danny Jashelski ends up in 4th. Bryce Aaron in 5th spot. 6th was Matt Clark. 7th was Nicholas Baptiste. 8th was Frankie Mossman. Liam Skeets up into the top 10 from deep in the field. Congratulations to Liam. Excellent job for Liam. And George Garcia-Arce rounding out the top 10. It was a good battle for the drivers in the top 10 there. It was Garcia-Arce, Brooks, and Montiero all scrapping out for that final spot inside the top 10. But again, this will shake things up in the points, as I said, with the DNF for Nikita Johnson, tightening things up big time, heading to Road America in just 2 weeks. Looking forward to getting to America's National Park of Speed. Hope those of you who have been trackside with us here enjoyed some great racing. Folks, we're set to go down in Victory Lane right now. Let's get to it. Strong run, folks, finishing in 3rd spot today for Turn 3. Motorsports, Lockie Hughes. Big pressure on the restart. Not quite enough, but he put the pressure on. Coming home second for Pabst Racing, Jace Denmark. And to finish the celebration, Exclusive Autosport, 3 straight victories here in the Freedom 90. He is back in P1. Put your hands together for the winner of the Freedom 90, Braden Eves. I'll tell you this, folks. I talked a lot about the USF Pro 2000 record book and what they've done. 6 of the last champions, 2 of them currently in Indy next. And the other 4 will be racing in the Indianapolis 500 on Sunday or Monday, whenever it happens. Talk about Renus VK, Kyle Kirkwood, Stingray Robb, Christian Rasmussen. We've got Louis Foster and Miles Rowe in Indy next. The 3 drivers you're seeing right now, you will see them in IndyCar. That's what this program's all about. Boys, get that champagne, grab it, grip it, and rip it. That's the celebration beginning for the champagne time. Going after Eves. And what a race that was. Capping off what was the Carb Night Classic. We can call it, the afternoon before the 500? Great way to finish things off here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Obviously, huge congratulations to Braden Eves as he comes away with a well-deserved victory, a much-needed one for sure for Braden Eves. Fantastic drive for him. Great runs for Jace Denmark and Lockie Hughes. And, of course, congratulations to Tanner DeFabus earlier, winning the Freedom 75 for USF 2000. Folks, thank you so much for being here trackside. We appreciate it. Shout out to all those of you tuning in from around the country and around the world. Thank you so much, folks. We appreciate it. On behalf of Anderson Promotions and Continental Tire, and, of course, everybody here at IRP, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.